go. Yeah.
Yep, we're going. We're finally going.
Finally.
After your recording mishaps.
Yeah, like 7 minutes of mishaps. This is some bullshit.
Like you mishapping constantly all the time.
Like, now.
When you're home, we're in your head. Lock the doors and close the blinds. Turn on your TV. Turn off your mind.
Yeah.
It always looks like you're like
Having a seizure.
getting covered in a mountain of jizz.
Maybe I am.
Every time you do that.
Maybe it's a bukkake
So it's
party.
like but not like a. It's like I'm not being exaggerated. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating, but literally a fucking mountain. Like that's how much is coming at you currently.
I mean, sure. That's fair.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, a little bit.
100%. Typical fucking you.
Yeah, sounds about right. Just typical night in the McGee household.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome.
We're back again. We are Soul of a Gamer.
Yes.
We are here every week to tell you about a game we played. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed last week's game, which was...
Is that Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat 11. That one was a lot of fun. We actually really liked that one. So if you haven't listened to that episode, check it out. This next one, though, Stephen hates.
Yes. Amnesia.
This is...
The Dark Descent.
Yes, this is a scary game, a horror game. It's a horror adventure game. Just a little backdrop. It is by Frictional Games.
Yeah.
They basically are only famous for Amnesia. They've released other games. Penumbra. I've never played that one. Another horror game.
Okay.
And Soma, which is another horror game.
I've heard of Soma
Penumbra
a
is
lot.
more of like a... Yeah, Soma I've actually seen before, but I have no idea what it is. But it's similar to this, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And then Penumbra is like an episodic game, just like Walking Dead and Wolfenstein or whatever. All those shit things that came out around the same time as this, as
Yeah.
Penumbra did.
It's one of the first like really
2006 to
popular
2010.
indie horror games, though. A lot of people give it credit for that.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a horror game. Let's just jump right into some shit.
What's on the box?
Yeah, so I found a PC box. Why are you shaking your head at me?
Just no. I like how you don't just say it. You're like, "What's on the box?" You're like, "What's on the box?" You gotta copy.
Why do I have
what
to
the-
say things normally?
what
you know,
the voice is doing?
I love doing the voices. It's fun, even if it's just for you.
All right.
All right, so I found a PC box for this. I couldn't really find much else for it.
Which one is it? What does it look
It's
like?
got like a spiral staircase in the center, and then cages dangling on the sides.
Oh, okay, so it's showing the what room was that? That's
I don't even.
I had to
fucking
go in there
remember.
constantly because I kept forgetting shit to go in there. It's near the nave. It's near the nave. I know that. It's
Is that
the
like
nave
the
goes into like
Torture area or whatever.
it's one of them.
Yeah.
Yes, there's two that are kind of near each other. But there's a bunch of torture cells in that one.
Yeah.
And then the regular cells are somewhere else. But yes,
Yeah.
torture area.
But this one says, "Think before running." In Amnesia: The Dark Descent, you play a British regular named Daniel. Daniel, realizing the horrors that Alexander lets loose on London, takes up a tricky offer. He drinks a potion that not only makes him weaker, but it wipes away all of Daniel's memory. Waking up in Brennenburg Castle, Daniel soon realizes that a shadow is following him. Alexander has created brutish monsters after realizing Daniel's goal. Now Daniel has to run or hide from these monsters to destroy the evil Alexander of Brennenburg.
What the fuck did you just read?
I read the back of this.
That's not the story.
That's exactly the story.
No, at no point are you in London during the game. You don't like knock yourself out in London. You're always in Brennenburg. He didn't create the monsters after you drank the potion. You helped him create those fucking things. Are you kidding me right now? What kind of fucking box is this?
Dude,
They're
I found this on
completely wrong.
Google. I don't even know. It was
That's
hard finding a
amazing.
box.
That box is shit, dude. That literally, I have the synopsis of the story for story time, and that's not it at all.
I mean,
That's really funny.
yeah. Maybe they're going after the
That's
things
like-
in the letters, maybe? kind of.
Yeah, well, all the letters, like, in the letters, he says, like, I went to Egypt, and then I went here, and then I went here, and then I was in London for a week, then I went here. Like, at no point did he, like, say, like, I'm based out of London, because he was in London when he sent the orb to a studious man, and then that guy died, like, a week later, and then he left.
Okay.
And then he got a message from Alexander to go, yeah, that's stupid, that's dumb. That whole box makes no sense.
Interesting.
That's really funny. I'm going to give this box the lowest rating you could possibly get for getting the game fucking wrong.
So, what is the
There's no rating? There's no rating low enough. There's literally nothing low enough.
I was just trying to think, like, two
Like the
pieces
nut sack
scrotum.
of a naked mole rat or something.
I like how we both went nutsack.
Yeah, it's a nut sack of something. It's a nut sack of the dirtiest animal you can think of. Whatever that animal is to you, that's what that fucking back of the box is to me.
Weinstein?
Sure.
Or, yeah.
No, God, that's the dumb. God, that's so stupid. I do like the artwork of the spiral staircase, and especially because it's something they pulled directly out of the game.
I mean, that is some cool artwork. I do like that. And, like, the back of this
and
box
I really
shows...
did like that part of the game a lot, so...
The back of this box shows hanging pigs, a blue rose and some water, and then the orb.
Yeah. You do see the hanging pigs at one point. I can't remember when, but you definitely see that at one point. Alright, well, let's just fucking move on from that monstrosity.
Alright.
Are we jamming?
So, are we jamming?
So to start out here, just a little bit of a background on here. I'm gonna say, like, I don't know, middle of the ground kind of deal, but we'll get into that in a second. Music in this game was composed by Mikko Tarnia. Voice actors in this game, it's no one I know. I don't know if you recognize Sam A. Mowry, Dave Rivas, Eric Newson, Mark Biaggi, Richard Topping, Bill Corkery, Hank Mitchell, Dan Zulo, and John St. John, my favorite one.
Just because
somebody actually named their kid. Yeah, well, who the fuck does that? Who names their kid John if their last name is John? And then put Saint in the fucking middle.
Dude, I just had someone the other day whose name was Kelly J. Kelly.
What a fucking asshole. Now, it would be worth it if it was Kelly R. Kelly.
Would it, though?
Yes, it would be 100 times worth.
No.
100 fucking times. Because then you're like, why aren't you in prison? How many kids did you diddle?
I don't want to know. Just go to prison forever. Just bye. Go.
But aside from that, I don't know. The ambiance music in this game, I will say, had me on edge at all fucking times.
Yes.
At any given point in this game, I was just on edge thinking something could get me. But I already knew, like, after spending, I don't know, an hour in the game, you already know exactly what you're going to be up against at all times. And you never had to worry about jump scares, which was kind of let down. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But the ambiance music did create an atmosphere of a jump scare at any given point.
True. The atmosphere for the sound design in this is absolutely just ridiculous. I don't know if I've had a horror game with this good of immersion for audio. And playing with a headset is really the way to go with this game, and it makes so much things easier, but that also makes it so much worse if you're not a fan of this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Other sounds I wasn't so keen on, like the voice acting. I argue that you could have taken all the voice acting out and had this just be a fucking text game, and I would have the same effect on me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, you just had the sounds in there of grunting and shit from you and the monsters and shit, but otherwise, just take all the fucking voice acting out. It wasn't worthwhile. I hated the points where the guy was reading while you were trying to read. I'm like, can you please just turn it off?
Yes.
I can read this. Why put the letters in front of my face if you're just going to read it?
Yeah. It'd be better if it was audio recordings at that point if they were going to do it like that instead of trying to make it as a letter.
Yeah, like where you could still walk around while you're hearing it going on.
Kind of like
or
The Last
even
of
better,
Us did.
or change up the voice a little bit so it sounds more like, have the beginning sound like you're sane, you're normal, and then as each letter progresses, it gets more progressively like turned into madness. Because at no point in that game did it feel like you were like struggling to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, Layers of Fear did a better job with that for sure, of hearing the crazy in his voice as he progressed.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes. And not only hearing but seeing it. I thought Layers of Fear did a much better job with that. This one, yeah, it's okay. The voice acting's like a B, I'd give it, and then the music, the ambiance music, fucking A+.
Yeah, I this is S tier fucking immersion audio for me. Like this is crazy. I haven't. I'll talk about this more later too.
Goosebumps
But this
at
is
all points.
This is a game.
All points, I had goosebumps.
I've never been more terrified in a game before.
I don't know why. After you figure out how to like this game works, you're like, man, this game's fucking boring.
Dude, I had to be watching something while playing this game to get through the sections that I did. Like, fuck this game. And I had to watch the entire game first to know the pathing first, because I didn't want to try to figure it out myself.
All right. Let's move on.
How does it play?
How does it play?
This game... So a couple things just to point out about this game up front. A, the camera can get very nauseating in the beginning.
Oh, it's
I know you had experiences with that nausea later in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, after the first hour of playing, you kind of get used to it and your mind adjusts to the way they do it. I can see why they did it. The idea that your sanity is going down, so you shouldn't be doing things like you normally do. Other games did it better. They made it so you just end up dying if your sanity gets too low. This game, I don't think you die. At no point did I die from my sanity being too low.
You get knocked unconscious.
Oh, see, I just fell to the ground at one point.
And then you come back up.
And then I just got back up. Yeah, and I was like, okay, is that all that happens? Is that the worst? Because it only happened once, too.
It happened to me several times. I mean, several times. That, for me, is what really fucked me up with this game. I have never been a person that has ever been motion sick, or any motions or any movies or anything has ever made me feel nauseous. The beginning hour of this game, I've never felt more nauseous in my life, like, playing this.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck
I think
this,
they did
dude.
Honestly, they did a good job with that, because that, again, they're trying to make you feel what the character's feeling. This is the same argument you had with that bullshit with Senua's Sacrifice, where they were like, well, you want to feel immersed, and so you don't get a fucking tutorial.
Okay,
this is the same shit they're trying to do.
I get what you're saying, but fuck no. Because of one thing.
Yeah.
Because the camera fucking movements in this are way too fucking erratic. I even was telling Jen that I thought it would be funny to make a TikTok
rapid
video.
eye fucking movement.
Rapid entire body fucking movement. I was telling Jen, like, those first couple moments where you're, like, fumbling around and you, like, fall to the floor. Like, I almost want to make a TikTok video of what a perspective of Daniel's body would be in that instance. Because if it is a POV, then your fucking head is, like, bouncing around and going all the way down to the floor and then back up and then all the way down to the floor and back up. And you're just like, what the fuck? Your head's sliding around the ground while you're trying to just walk. I'm like, what is happening? Like, this is so bizarre.
I really liked it.
I hated it.
I mean, movement in this game's okay. Camera, I will say, again, it's going to make you sick when you first start playing. You'll get used to it, probably. If you don't, then I would just suggest stop playing it, because it never gets better.
Yeah.
And one of the movement things I really hated was the flashbacks.
Yes.
I hate flashbacks in games, because they always make it to where you way slow down, and I just stopped moving at those points. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm just not gonna move. It's not nauseating, it's irritating.
First of all, the flashback starting with a flashbang grenade every time and then slowing
the
movements.
Pretty much. Yeah. And then, like, being all fuzzy all around, like you're having a fucking stroke or something. Like, it got a little annoying, because it doesn't happen, like, a couple times. It happens, like, 30 times.
Yes. It's awful.
So, like, I would have preferred them, like, if they're gonna do a flashback, just do, like, of what you're viewing in that flashback then. Like, don't even let your character move. Like, take that moment, take the flashbacks as moments of safety where you can, like, still be scared because what's going on in the flashback, but without having to, like, worry about what's happening around you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was silly. The flashback stuff was actually kind of annoying.
Yes.
Normal movement in this game is fine. You're kind of a slow walker, but you have a sprint button if you need to sprint, and I used it all the time. There's no run out of the sprint, which was really nice.
The sprint is the best
That was
part.
one of the best parts of the game.
Yeah.
I expected them just to fuck us over and say you can only sprint for 2 seconds and you got to recover for 20.
Guys, this game is a horror game that actually does let you jump.
Yep. You do get to jump in it, which is kind of silly because you didn't really use it a lot.
Except from the water area.
Yeah, the water part was that one part where you used it, and that only lasted like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the most terrifying moments, though.
Oh no, I thought that is, again, as soon as you know what the creature does, you're like, okay, this got a whole lot less scary.
Yeah, the last part of it is a little spooky, but it's fun.
Yeah, there's actions in this. You can pick shit up, you can throw it. There's puzzles in this game. Some of the puzzles are really good, some of them not so much. Sometimes it was like, how the fuck would I have ever thought of doing this?
Yes.
With some of them, I had to look up a couple because I was like, what do you do next? I'm stuck. I've been in this room for 25 minutes. What do I do?
Yeah, I was stuck at the
A lot of them I did get.
I was stuck at the very
But-
fucking first room. I couldn't.
Well, that wasn't a puzzle.
I know, it wasn't even a
So
puzzle.
stop.
That's what I'm saying. I got stuck in the very first room for fucking like 15 minutes because I was looking. I didn't know there was a lever on the left-hand side of the wall, and I never used my lantern on that side of the wall, so I never thought to look at the walls. I was just like, it's like, go find the ink spot. You find the ink spot, and then it's like, all right, now figure it out.
Yep.
Like, okay.
It's a good amount of this game basically like lives on puzzles.
Yes.
We talked about the sanity thing. You do have a sanity meter. If you spend too much time in darkness, your sanity goes down. If you solve puzzles, your sanity goes up. And then the story, like as you progress through the story, you have moments of sanity forgiveness.
Yes.
So your sanity goes back up to full during moments of the story.
Yes. Which is nice.
Because they need you at fully sane in order to complete what they need you to do.
But like Scott said, the sanity meter doesn't actually fucking matter at all because you don't die from
Yeah.
it. You just see more
Yeah.
shit.
Other games do it so much better. When I played Visage, man, their sanity meter was so unforgiving. If you get like partially
heard.
insane, you start hearing shit. TVs turn on and off. And then if you get fully insane, you just die. Something comes out and kills you from somewhere.
Jesus.
And it's never the same way you die. It's always something different. So like games like that did a really good job of the sanity thing. I think this game kind of fell flat on the sanity part.
Yeah.
I talked about this in music. I really wish there were more jump scares. You basically fight one kind of monster throughout the entire game, except for this water creature that is invisible and chases you. And if you don't stand in the water, it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to avoid it. But there are no jump scares. It's all basically you're hiding from this one kind of monster that's not very quick.
Yeah. Well, it's quick if it sees
Like,
you.
Yeah, if it sees you, but you just hide in a corner and it walks in the room and doesn't even. It's like, I wonder what's in the corner. I guess I won't even check. I'll just go.
Yeah, I thought that was
nothing obvious in front of me.
I thought that was kind of funny, and I saw somewhere on Reddit that some people were saying like, if you're really scared of this game and want an easy way to play this, grab a chair or a big chest or something and carry it with you and hold it in your front of your face, because if they can't see your face, they can't see you, and they'll just.
Yeah, so as
disappear.
long as you don't look at them, because
Yeah.
the more you look at them, like
The more
it's
insane
really
you go.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the more insane, and they notice you, which was
Yes.
weird.
Yeah.
So like, but the problem is you don't know when they disappear unless you look at them. So every once in a while you have to peek out just to take a quick peek to make sure they
Yep.
either are gone or walked away enough for you to get away.
Yep.
But I mean, like I said, not enough jump scares. I felt scared for the first hour of this game, and the ambiance, like I said, really kept me on edge throughout the game. But all the monsters, they quit doing it for me after the second one I confronted. Because the first one, I always do the same thing. I run up to the monster, the first one I see, because I want to know, okay, how am I going to die from
Yeah.
this? Is it a one-hit kill? Do I get close to it and die instantly? Does it approach me and grab me? What happens? And all they do is swipe at you and you have health. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. They shouldn't have put health in this game. It should be a one-shot kill.
I mean, it's like two.
Make
or
it
three
more
hits.
intense. Yeah, it's way too many. That's way too many hits. They should have done one.
Yeah.
You do have a health that you can regenerate too, which I thought was kind of dumb. I'm like, yeah, okay, this game got a little bit too much of an RPG feel to it. They should have made this more horror.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't even really ever use the health things. I just let myself die.
I used it
and
several
then just-
times.
I think when you die, you come back to full health anyway. So.
You do, but still, I used it several times just because if I accidentally hit on one of those pieces of goo,
Yeah.
you get fucked up, and yeah. There is two types of enemies chasing you in this game. The water guys I'm not going to count because you only see them in one part of the game. The monsters are chasing you, and this thing called the Shadow is chasing you, and the Shadow is just this incorporeal being that throws up like slime in front of you and says, "Ha-ha! I have pestered you," and it's like, you're trying to kill me with slime.
The slime
Like, okay.
it, like bounces and moves and attacks you. So yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
not all the time. Most of the time, it's just on the fucking floor, and you just walk around it.
True.
Oh, Yeah, not a very good way to kill something, if you ask me. I don't think there's too much else to gameplay in this game.
I don't think so.
You get several items. You get a lantern to light up shit. If you stand in light, you regain sanity, but only up to a certain amount.
Yeah.
You get little
or tinder boxes.
Tinder boxes that you can use to light lights around.
Which there is an achievement for
lights.
getting all the tinder boxes in the game, which is 151.
Damn, I don't know how many.
But
probably not
it doesn't
151.
ever keep track unless you're just holding on to them. Like, if you're holding them,
Yeah.
it tells you how many you have. So if you never use one, which you don't need to.
Yeah, I would play this game. If you want to do the completionist thing, one says just let me get scared, and then one says, okay, I'm over the scariness. Let's just get the achievements now.
Yeah, fair.
It's not a long game. It's very short. So, all right, well, let's just move on to...
It's time for reviews.
Alright, we're doing reviews, right?
Yes, we are. Let's get
Yeah.
into the review.
So I thought-
Steven, what you got for me this time?
I thought you'd really enjoy this first one. This is from a guy named Jax, and he said, "Gave me a boner."
Nice. I don't know why, but okay.
7 people found that helpful.
That actually concerns me. There's a lot of torture in this game. I feel like he's not a normal guy.
Right? I always love this one. Get Amnesia, they said. It would be fun, they said.
Boo, that one sucks.
The original...
Do better. Like you could do so much better with that. You could be like, I bought this game and I had never shit myself before, and then suddenly,
I do have some
make
poop
it
ones
funny.
coming up.
Okay.
This one's a little bit longer of a review. The original indie horror game that started it all. If you are in need of a good scare with an incredible creepy setting and actual storyline, this is the game for you. I cannot stress enough how fantastically horrifying it is. This is mostly done through constant needs to push forward to avoid the darkness chasing you, but the knowledge that ahead lies horrible monsters. You're sort of stuck in the middle, and it leaves you with a sense of helplessness that I've never experienced before.
What?
I agree with that.
He literally... No, I don't agree. Again, like, as soon as you know how to play the game, you pretty much don't worry about the monsters
Dude,
anymore.
I watched...
And the shadow... If the shadow is chasing you, like, if it's actually, like, chasing you basically of a time limit in each area, yes, that's scary. It never does that.
No.
You never have a time limit. You're just fucking in the area. So it's not really even chasing you. It's just every time the story sees fit, it makes the shadow appear. And you never really run from it. You just kind of walk around its slime.
Yeah.
I would say the shadow is the least scary part of this game.
Played it for 15 minutes, found it too scary, turned it off, and uninstalled. 10 out of 10.
Did you put that review?
I did not. I played it for more than 10 minutes. Here's your poop one. I was constipated all week that I played this game. Hashtag instant relief. 10 out of 10. Would recommend this game to anyone with severe bowel movement dysfunctions.
These people are a little... They clearly they don't play scary games or have not played a real scary game, because this is not that bad.
I started playing this game when the sun finally went down. I put on my headset, shut off the lights, and off I went. I finished the game just as the sun came up.
right way.
Then I took off my filled diaper, got a cup of coffee, and called my mom.
That one's good. That one's good. That's the right way to play these games. Do it at fucking nighttime. Turn all the lights out. Don't have any sound going. Play the fucking game just as you're supposed to.
Then I got a couple of negative ones. Play in darkness to increase immersion. Screen flashes bright while white flash of light anytime you have a memory, blinding you. This hurts my eyes. Hurts.
Okay, that's really what?
It was
Like, yes, he's right. There shouldn't be like giant white splotches. Maybe give a seizure warning beforehand, but
yeah.
it's not that bad. I never really even paid attention to it.
Very, very atmospheric. Maybe too atmospheric. So much so that it eats away from the actual gameplay and fear experience. For Christ's sakes, Daniel, it's my turn to be scared, not yours.
That's a dumb review. Okay.
Yeah.
These people have really stupid reviews. They're like, I'm going to try to be witty. And I'm like, just tell me if the game sucks or not. Jesus Christ.
It might be a great game, but I cannot play it because of the puke factor. I have played plenty
Puke?
of PS.
Oh, nausea.
Yeah, in my time, but this game and its wobbly camera just makes me sick. I cannot be disabled in this game. So unless they create a mod to disable it, I'm stuck. I can't play this game.
All right, well then don't put a review. I don't under. It doesn't really say if the game's good or bad. It just says, hey, if you have easy nausea, go fuck yourself.
I mean, I agree with him though. Like that was the biggest issue for me.
Again, that's per person because I had no issue with that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same reason why some people don't like going to like 3D movies and stuff.
Yeah, it's like those people are like 1 out of 10 probably.
Yeah,
it's
true.
not a lot of people who do that, so that's not a very good review. Like again, if you said like don't play this game if you have easy nausea, then that's a good review. You're letting people know, hey, you might throw up if you fucking play this
Here's
game.
that
But
exact
saying like,
one.
I wish I could beat it.
Do not buy if you suffer from motion sickness. I really look forward to playing this game
review.
because it apparently was just so good. Well, I lasted 4 minutes before I felt so sick that I had to quit it.
What a little bitch.
Years later,
Let
I
me
tried
just
watching
stop
a
with the
Let's
motion
Play. I
sickness.
lasted 15 minutes. He couldn't even watch a Let's Play of it.
Well, this guy sounds like he just shouldn't look at TVs.
That's all I got for reviews, but...
All right, well, those were some like really piss poor reviews. So that's good.
They had some funny
That's
ones
good.
in there, though. I liked the...
Some funny ones. I like the poop one,
Yeah.
kind of, but you know, after a while, maybe stop the wittiness. Let's just talk about what the game is sometimes. But let's go. Let's move on.
It's story time. Let's
Yeah.
get started.
What are we doing?
Story time? Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a quick little synopsis of the game. It's not very long, guys. We're gonna try to like streamline at least a synopsis, so we're not so all over the place every week
You
with
don't
the
like to
story,
be
and then we'll talk about
scatterbrained?
our favorite parts. Yeah, well, it's not just scatterbrain. It's like we'll forget things that
I
are
know.
important, like oh shit, you know. So we're gonna try to streamline it and then talk about our favorite parts after, or our least favorite parts, or whatever. So here is the story. The story of Amnesia: Dark Descent starts with a man waking in a castle in Brandenburg, Prussia in 1839. His name is Daniel, and he has no memory of who he once was. He reads a note written by him to him. He explains that a shadow is hunting him and that he needs to kill the baron of the castle, Alexander. He makes his way through the castle while solving riddles and unearthing truth about his past he would rather not confront. He realizes that he found an orb that has magical properties, but also makes him a target for the aforementioned shadow. The shadow and Alexander throw up obstacles to slow down, stop, and kill Daniel. This includes sending creatures to capture or kill him, which is never really made clear because it sounds like one wants to capture him and then sometimes they kill him. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I don't quite understand why it did that, but putting up damaging barriers in his way, creating puzzles to slow him down, and locking him in a cell to allow the shadow to kill him. Through diary entries, Daniel comes to realize his role in this horror that has happened inside the walls of the castle. He and Alexander would capture people who committed serious crimes in order to torture them so they could extract a substance known as vitae? I'm going to call it vitae, but it might be something
I
else.
think it's vitae. That's
It's
how I've
probably
heard it
vitae.
pronounced. Yeah.
All right. Known as vitae from their blood, this is a substance only created while the subject is in great pain or great fear. It would be used to repel the shadow once and for all. However, Alexander wanted to use it to return to his native dimension, which he was banished from centuries before. They would torture the subjects in order to produce the vitae. They would then force them to drink an amnesia potion so they could never get used to the torture, which is pretty fucked up.
It's very
pretty,
fucked
like-
up.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked.
One of the most
That's
fucked
probably the
up
most fucked
torture.
part of the
Yeah.
Yeah. At the climax of all this torture, they decide to kidnap an innocent family from a farm. They lock up and begin torturing the family to complete the necessary final steps to open the portal for Alexander. His fever pitch, the fever pitch was when he killed the little girl due to his frustration of the girl's escape and unwillingness to be locked up once more. That's when Daniel decided to drink the amnesia potion himself so that his guilt wouldn't prevent him from getting revenge on Alexander for not being honest at what the vitae was for. Near the end of the game, Daniel meets Agrippa, who would study the brains of the people who were tortured along with his partner Johann Weyer. Agrippa was turned into one of the monsters that have been attacking Daniel throughout the game, but retains his memories and ability to communicate. He tells Daniel about opening portals with vitae and instructs him on reconstructing the broken orb to unlock the inner sanctum. He just asked Daniel to bring his head with him to the chamber in order to send it back to his dimension. Daniel reassembles the orb and breaches the inner sanctum. He then confronts Alexander and can make one of 3 choices to end the game. Let Alexander go through the portal, causing his own death. Let Alexander open the portal and throw Agrippa's head through it, resulting in both Alexander's and Daniel's death, or stopping the ritual, which results in Alexander's death, with Daniel escaping the castle.
There's one more secret ending, too.
Is there? What's the secret ending?
When you get captured by the monster and you put in the jail cell, if you there's like an audio thing that says something like you can either leave and go after Alexander, or you can stay and be taken by the shadow. You actually can stay there long enough that the shadow will come and it'll slowly start filling the entire cage.
Oh, I guess
with
I had the first instance of that. I just thought that was part of the story.
Yeah, so it actually happens like 4 different times that he spits up in there, and then if you wait past that, it actually kills you, and then it ends the game a different way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that ending sucks. That's the worst ending.
It is.
I was so confused at the end of the game because I'm like trying to... supposedly, like, you're supposed to wait for him to open the portal, and that's what I thought I had to do because Agrippa explained that I need to throw his head into the portal, so I had to wait for Alexander to open it. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, so when's he going to open the portal? And then it gets silent. I'm like, all right. So I wait 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't open the portal. I'm like, am I supposed to do something before he opens it? Like, am I supposed to knock one of these down? So I try to knock it down, and it doesn't seem like I could, but then, like, I waited 2 more minutes, and then I went back to it. I'm like, okay, I've got to be able to do fucking something with this thing. And then I knock it down. I'm like, oh, okay, so you turn it to the left. Not that's stupid. It should just be able to like front or back, but instead it's left or right. So I knock it down. He says something. I wait 2 to 3 more minutes. Nothing fucking happens. I'm like, okay. So am I supposed to just knock them all down and that opens the portal? What the fuck is going on? So I knock the other 2 down and it just ends the game. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't get it. It didn't open a fucking portal because I was going to throw Agrippa's head in there.
So it does happen that way. I didn't play the end of the game, so everyone knows. I'm going to fully admit that right now. I could not make it through this fucking game. Whether you want to call me a bitch or whatever, I don't care.
You are.
That's fine. But when I watched the game playthrough at the end, I watched every ending possibility for it. I watched all the lore videos, everything, because I wanted to understand the story better. But I don't even remember, because like the guy I watched play was Markiplier, and he like started fidgeting with the pillars, but he couldn't knock them down. And then Alexander started doing some sort of speech, and then after about like a few minutes, then the portal just started opening all of a sudden, and then he actually was able to throw the head in, and he's like, "No, you foiled my plans!" And then he disintegrates and dies, and then like you die as well, and then Agrippa like
the shadow comes and kills you.
Yeah, and then Agrippa like comes and helps you and says like, "Oh, we'll protect you from blah blah blah" or whatever. And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I was confused. The whole dimension thing in this game was kind of fucking stupid. That was really dumb. I didn't understand at all what the point in any of that was, like, especially because they only really introduced it at the end of the game. They give little hints like during the game, but nothing huge.
Yeah.
And then Daniel's slow descent into madness, it should have been like more egregious.
I agree, because
it seems like
a lot of the
breaking
beginning.
point was just the family. Yeah. Like, it should be more, like, almost sudden, like, shit, I killed someone. Holy fuck, I killed someone. Holy shit, fuck, I killed someone and I didn't want to. Like, you know, you'd think it's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The whole game just felt a little bit subpar, especially the ending. The ending of just sitting there for me and waiting for the portal to open. Too much time. You should only have maybe a minute max to knock that shit over.
So I watched, all the different endings, and I watched the ending from several different people because I was confused on if it actually just does take that long. Every time I saw someone play the ending, it takes that long. You're doing nothing for so long. Yeah, it's so dumb.
They should mod that. That's the only mod that I would accept. Like, make it a minute. Make it max a minute. And while that minute's going on, he's talking the entire time because he just stopped talking for me. I was like, okay, well, this is boring. I'm just standing here doing nothing.
Yeah, he's a very short thing. Like, oh, you don't think that Agrippa has some evil, and you have some evil in you, and I might have some good in me, and then just stops.
Yep. He's a little bitch. Alexander was not a good bad guy, too. I would have much
why
preferred,
is he naked?
like... Yeah, that was my question, too. You get to see his dick hanging.
All
you can't bring
dicks.
clothes with you to other dimensions.
Every character in this game is naked except for you, and everyone's dick's out.
And there, it's all men, too. And I'm like, where's all the women? Be fair. Be equal.
That was one review I forgot to read for the positive review. Someone's like, every man in this game has their dick out. 10 out of 10.
I wonder if you're naked, too. Maybe you're just running through the castle completely.
I mean,
fucking
possibly.
Yeah, Alexander's fight at the end would have been better if, like, I was even thinking maybe they throw a maze in at the end where Alexander's chasing you and he's becoming like a giant monster. Because this rang like demonic tones to me. It didn't ring like dimensional tones.
Yeah.
Like, I would have much preferred, like, it almost made it sound like he sacrifices beings to the shadow in order to gain eternal life. But he has to keep doing it, otherwise he couldn't have the eternal life
So
anymore.
he's trying to create a philosopher's stone?
Kind of ish of sorts, but more of like he's just trying to appease the shadow even more to give himself more time by sacrificing someone else who sacrificed for eternal life.
Yeah.
Like, that seems more of the story to me.
I mean, that's just... I've been watching Full Metal Alchemist recently, Brotherhood, so like that to me just sounds like that so much, like using people's lives and torturing them and their life energy to make homunculus for eternal life.
Yeah. Well, and again, like, it just made more sense. Like, the dimensional thing that sci-fi does not really stay scary.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you can explain something without having any questions about it, it stops being scary.
Well, and I do hate, like, for some things with fantasy and some things for sci-fi, that the explanation just is because of other dimensions.
Yeah.
Because magic.
And see, magic is a good excuse for
Yes.
that. If they would have just said, like, ritual magic bullshit that can't be explained by human science, that's great. That's scary. That's that's terrifying. Science you can explain, so it's like, okay, well, they're using shit to open a portal that they built, so their civilization's way more advanced, but somehow he didn't, like, take any of that knowledge with him here, I guess. Whatever. And Alexander's such a subpar last little thing to do.
Yeah.
The whole mood of the game changed once you met Agrippa, too. I would have preferred not to meet Agrippa.
Yeah, because it did seem way less, like, scary at that point.
Yeah, because the entire game, like, at that point, you're scared out of your mind, and then suddenly you have a zone that you can go to that you know nothing will appear in.
And you have this guy who just sounds happy to see you.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I don't want this conversation. I want to be scared. That's why I'm playing a fucking horror game. Don't put in, like, a nice little, hey, buddy, what's up? Like, that's so stupid.
Thanks for doing the chores I asked you to do for me while I'm tied up.
Yeah, one of the things we didn't talk about in here is you have to, like, make a potion, by the way, to get Agrippa's head.
Yes.
And the potion is, like, really stupid. So I had no idea how to make it. He told me about it, and then I found the note, and I'm like, well, how do you get all of these ingredients? And before that, I had found this piece of meat on a stool. I'm like, well, this has to be for, like, throwing at the monster or something to distract it. And then I never use it. I'm like, where the fuck do you use this? And apparently, so I ended up looking up because I wanted to save Agrippa. And you tie it to a rope on a well and lower it into the well, and I'm like, what does that do? Well, the thing
There's
that's
a monster
invisible eats it, and then you get his saliva, and that's how you get this one thing. And I'm like, that's so fucking stupid.
It really was.
That is so fucking stupid. Oh my.
Yeah, so the puzzles were either really convoluted like that, or they were throw a rock at it.
Yeah. Well, some of them, it's like you had no idea, like, we'll throw a rock at it. Well, wait, what? I'm supposed to throw a rock at? Why would I do that? That doesn't seem heavy enough to... Like, the one point was you throw a rock on this thing to lower it.
Yes, that was stupid.
You have two platforms that are higher, two levers. You hit each lever. One of them comes all the way down. One of them comes halfway down. And to get the second one to come all the way down, you throw a rock on it.
Well,
I'm like, well, the rocks... If I can lift the rock, it is definitely not heavy enough to fucking lower this thing.
And I thought you had to clear that one room, and you would find a lever that lowered
Yeah.
it all the way or something. But then that didn't
It took
happen.
me a while to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I'm like, well, how the fuck do you lower this? What am I missing? And I went to each room like 7 times, couldn't find anything. After 25 minutes, finally, I'm like, fuck it, we're going to throw a rock at it.
Yeah, which that is one of
And
the
that
things
took forever, too.
sucks in
You
this
have to
game.
keep throwing it up. It's on a platform, so you have to, like, throw the rock up to the platform in order to throw the rock on the railing.
Yes. That's one of the things that sucks with this game, too, is just, like, when you don't know what to do, you just walk around rooms that you've walked around, like, 18 fucking times, and you're just like, where do I go?
Well, that's normal for horror games, but the difference is, like, normally when you don't know what to do, you're still not safe.
Yeah,
Like, you're in an area where you could still die at any moment.
true.
But in these ones, when you were, like, when unsure what to do, nothing was happening around you. That's where I'm like, the jump scares need to be better.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it would have been better if they actually had, like, the monsters or something in this game have, like, a certain set path, and then they were able to react to you and stuff, like if they heard you or something.
I'd rather have it if it was completely random, but all the monsters seem to be not random. Like, you'd complete something and a monster would appear.
Yeah.
You do this and a monster would appear. And I'm like, come on, just make them fucking, like, randomly spawn in front of you when you're just walking down a fucking hall or something.
Well, and it talks so much in this game about if they see you, they'll come after you, but they also can hear you, and that was terrifying to find out.
Yeah, so if you crouch and walk, they can kind of hear you and they kind of turn around and look, but they don't
No, but
chase
if
after
you,
you
like-
unless you're running.
If you grabbed, like, there was one time there was a monster outside of a room, and I grabbed a, like, bucket and was moving stuff around and opened up a chest, and then all of a sudden he started crashing down the door, and I was like, what the fuck?
Why the fuck would you do that while the monster's outside the
I
door?
didn't know they would. First of all, I didn't know they'd break down the fucking door. Second of all, I didn't know they could
You
hear
didn't know
because they
that a
only
monster
warn
would
you
break
about
down the
sight.
door.
Everything in the tutorial at the beginning was all just about sight. If you see things, you go crazy.
I
If you
don't
see
know.
monsters, you go crazy. If you see monsters and they see you, they'll come after you.
I just figure sounds and movements are what the monsters look for.
I didn't. You know.
I just crouched in a corner most of the time and never got seen. So
I mean, that's.
I
the
died
way
a
to play
couple
this
times to
game.
the monsters when I got really brave, and I'm like, I'm just gonna run past this fucking thing, see if I'm faster than it.
be a big brave boy.
Every once in a while I would do that, and every once in a while I would die because I got too brave.
Fair.
Well, but yeah, that's. I mean, I don't have any favorite parts of the story. Nothing really like dinged out at me. Least favorite parts of the story, nothing really that was so impossible I couldn't get by it. No least favorite puzzles. Everything was fairly normal. I will say the one thing that was funny near the end of the game, you have to clog this machine. And I'm like, okay, what can I find that will clog this machine? I've got a piece of pallet wood, and I put it in, and it's like, that won't work. I'm like, okay, I've got a bucket. That won't work. I'm going to go get a fucking rock. And I find this big-ass rock, and I come back in the room, and I put it in. I'm like, that worked. I'm like, yeah, it did. Yeah, the rock did.
Like I
And
said,
then when
throw a
I'm
rock
locked
at it.
Yep. I'm locked in the cell. There's the only thing in the cell with you is a bucket to shit in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's why I ended up in there so long that I'm looking for, like, a way out. I had no idea how to get out, so I'm like, what if I, like, angle the bucket through this little hole? And I get the bucket through the hole, and I'm like, wait, what if I need the bucket in the cell for what I'm doing? So I take the bucket back in, and then I start, like, throwing it at the wall or at the cell door. And I did that for, like, 5 minutes trying to get out. I'm like, where the fuck? Because I didn't see a hole in the wall
Yes.
to open up. So then I throw the bucket at the wall, and it breaks it. I'm like, yeah, bucket. Yeah, you're the hero of this story. And then you have to go to the area, and it says, like, you need water. Basically, you need water to get this key out of a pipe that's broken.
Yes.
And there's a well in the middle. So I'm like, oh, shit. I know where there's a bucket. And you go get the bucket, and you can't use that bucket to get the water. I'm like, well, this is horse shit.
Yeah, because that well was where you needed to put the food down.
No. You need the bucket.
Yeah.
You need a bucket, but it's a specific fucking
Oh,
bucket.
yeah, that's right.
You can't just use any bucket you find. I'm like, this is really fucking stupid. Make it any bucket. Make it any bucket. Why wouldn't you? Who gives a shit? You gotta find a specific bucket for this, otherwise it won't work.
Yep.
It's got a fucking handle. Tie the rope to it.
No, it doesn't work.
Oh, God, it was so dumb. I was so pissed.
I could tell.
And yeah, you get the key and you get out, and you're like, I didn't feel rushed to do any of that stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
The first thing that happened, that first little instance of shit coming in your cell, happened after like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
So it takes forever. It's just too long. They need to make it quicker. They need to make you think on your feet more.
yeah, it takes a long time for you to fully lose your insanity when you're just sitting in the dark. And then, like we said,
Yeah.
it doesn't really do anything when you do. You just go unconscious and then come back up. Like,
Yeah.
nothing actually, like, really happens to you. And, like, you don't get... It didn't ever seem like you actually got more scares. Like, it always said, like, you see more stuff and you hear more stuff, but it just felt like that was just that way all the way through. Like, it didn't feel like it
Yeah.
changed ever.
I was curious what the shadow was, too, because they never really got into that either.
Yeah.
Like, clearly this is more of a sci-fi oriented thing, but then they throw some mysticism in there with the orb, which you assume is like a piece of technology.
Mm-hmm.
But then the shadow, what the fuck is that then? Is it like a guardian in between the dimensions to prevent other people from going through the dimensions? Why is it guarding the orb? Like, what's the point in all this? I would have liked some backstory on the shadow, just to understand why it was chasing you.
That's fair.
Like, did they make, like, nanites that protect the orb, but all they can do is really make goo? So they're like, we'll goo you. Goo attack.
Yeah.
Like, it's very confusing. The whole game, like,
Yeah, I mean, I
was
watched
really scary
lore videos
up until that.
Yeah, I watched a bunch of lore videos afterwards because I was just like, what the fuck happened? Like, I didn't understand the ending.
Because you have no idea. So, yeah, that was pretty much the whole story, I guess. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, same. And I think you were just right with the game. Like, there's not a lot of, like, just, like, dull moments or really high moments. This game pretty much keeps the same
Yeah, the
feeling
tone is that
throughout
same.
the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides that moment
The only
where
thing that this-
Agrippa.
Yeah. The only thing that this game has going for it is the ambiance music, where it just fucking terrifies you at any given point.
Yes,
It's the only
it's
thing.
awful.
So,
Well,
composer, great job.
and it has some high fucking pitch like noises sometimes. Like Jen at one point was like, "Is that your game?" Like I'm just like I'm not hearing that in my own head, right? Like she was actually like getting anxious just listening to the game. Like that's how impactful that sound is.
Yeah,
for
because
this.
it's so fucking insane. Miko Tarmia, was that his name? Miko Tarmia?
I think that's what she
it
said.
was. Miko, yep, Tarmia. He did a great job at fucking writing and composing this.
Yes.
I want to give real props to him, the true hero of this game.
100%, hands down.
Yep. All right, let's move on.
Worth or not?
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm gonna go worth. I didn't really like this game. You could either play or pass. It's not scary enough for me to like say it's fucking like you play this game and you're gonna be pooping because your constipation's gonna be up. Like I'm not gonna go that far. That guy's an idiot. I would say worth. It's middle of the ground. You could probably find games scarier or less scary. Like it depends what your tastes are. This game is still fun. It's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, for me, I kind of agree. For me, like I think this game does atmospheric horror better than any other game, especially for the audio. So if you're interested in that at all, and you really love horror and you don't get motion sick, this is the game for you. This is fucking fantastic. And all of the entire Amnesia series is on Game Pass right now, so you have no excuse not to play it if you have an Xbox user. But seriously,
Or just have a PC.
yeah, I guess that's true too. I always forget about that. But seriously, this game, it is really bad for anybody who does get any sort of motion sickness. And this game is it was really scary for me in a lot of ways. Like my heart was always like, and I didn't get like jump scared like Scott was saying. It was more just like my heart was always beating at 100 miles an hour every time I was playing this game, to the point where I was literally like panicking. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why do I feel like my heart's going so fast? So yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think the game really did a good job with like keeping you on edge, but didn't do a good job of delivering through that on edge.
Yes, which I almost
So,
like needed that on it, like to pass that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you needed that jump scare to like push you through. Otherwise, you're just sitting there like, oh, I'm just waiting for it to happen.
Yes.
And eventually, people like me just get bored with it and like, okay, now I'm over it because I'm not fucking. I don't care anymore.
And people
I stop being on edge once I don't get scared.
People for me, like this entire game, I was just waiting for something, and I never had that something happen. And like the scary moments in this game, they're spooky, but like nothing ever like completely terrified me. And I was just like, that's I think like one thing like games like Outlast have over this one for sure.
No, I wouldn't even call Outlast scary.
It has more jump scares though, and it actually does.
Yeah,
deliver
for sure.
on
More
the-
jump scares. But again, as soon as you bring the sci-fi element in the game, you're like, God damn it. And once you explain stuff, I stop being scared. I'm like, it's got to be unexplained.
Yeah.
It's a ghost. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't understand a ghost. What am I supposed to do with a ghost? I can't fight a ghost.
But I do love games and movies that follows the rules. Like, they give a set rules for these ghosts or apparitions or whatever, and they follow those rules.
They don't like hangers, so you get yourself a hanger and you're like, come at me, bro.
Okay, not everyone's Michael Myers.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed that episode.
Yes.
Our next episode is...
Oh, God, why am I drawing a blank?
I know what it is.
Is it Max Payne 2?
Yep, Max Payne
Yeah.
2. I don't, something about him dying. I can't remember the exact title.
The Fall of Pain or something?
Yeah, Fall of Pain, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I can't wait for
maybe-
this one. It's a good sequel one.
I'm hoping it's better than the first fucking game with all its fucking bullshit invisible walls that just stop you from fucking moving at any given point in your fucking life.
Yes.
It better be 100 times better. If it's not, it's gonna suck.
True. But it'll be fun.
So yeah, there we go. That's it. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Just come back. Listen to us again.
Come back.
Please.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.